Chris Lovell here with another edition of Pirate Talk with the head coach of the Lady Pirates, the girls basketball team that is on a roll right now. We are we're mid-rounds of the playoffs and all that. We're going to kind of recap how we got to that point and then kind of preview the regional, which will be in Wichita Falls. Did want to thank the Texas Tech Federal Credit Union for sponsoring these podcasts. We certainly appreciate their support with these podcasts. They have meant everything to us as we've kind of gotten this thing going. And Coach Lovorn, we're talking to you the day after a huge win, 58-53 over Tascosa, and if possible, I'm going to try to get you to rewind just a bit because I want to get to the immediacy of last night. But you had to win a few games to get to this point, and so I don't want to gloss over those because this last one was a bit closer than the other two. Sure. But I don't want to gloss over because any playoff win is to be celebrated. But take me through finishing up regular season. You split the district championship, and you end up seeded where you were, and then away we go. So let's just kind of back up for a little bit, as hard as that may be to do. Because I know you're in the moment, you've moved on, but for our viewers here, I want to make sure we caught them up. Yeah, definitely. We had a good district run. Ended up tied for first place with Monterey in our district, and after district was finished up, then both 11-1 in the district. Yes, both 11-1, and and I was proud of our girls for protecting that. It would have been, easy for a team to come up and bite us from behind, but we were able to protect that and hold on to our tie with them. And so after district was wrapped up, then Coach Schneider from Monterey and myself, we met up, and athletic directors were there, and we had a big coin flip. And luckily, we were able to win the coin flip, which means we chose our seed. What coin is it that's flipped? Well, you bring your own. It was. Is it like the scene in the movie Friday Night Lights where you go to the Whataburger or whatever, and everybody's got their own coin? It was actually directly after the Athletic Directors Association meeting over at Lowry Field. Okay. And so as soon as that was finished, you were playing a road game with your coin flip. As soon as that was finished, then. I thought we were going to go off to the side in a private room, and we ended up doing it right there in the middle of everybody. There was about 10 or 15 people circled around us. Plenty of witnesses. People had cell phones out videoing it and everything. Okay. And Mike Meeks, AD over at Lubbock ISD, then he had brought a pretty hefty silver dollar coin. Okay. And had an eagle on one side and like a Greek goddess on the other side. And Coach Schneider called it, and she called the eagle, and it landed on the Greek goddess side. And so we won the flip, and I chose the 2 seed. And so we were co-district champs, and they went in the playoffs as the 1 seed, and Lubbock-Cooper was 2 seed. Okay. And so that's kind of how we finished up district play, and which means we matched up with Paladura first round. And that was a good little start for us. We played Paladura at Wayland, and that was a little hectic because of the weather. We were supposed to play at Muleshoe, and then that got canceled at the last minute because of there was a power outage, basically laying on top of the gym there in Muleshoe, and they were like, "We have no power." This was the day of the game, so I was in my office on the phone with you, Coach Catwinkle. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do, what's going on, and you're trying to make sure officials and tell your fans and everybody going on. Yeah, a little crazy. Couple hours there, but no worse for the wear. Yeah, and we ended up playing the game at Wayland that night, which in a way. And we'll get to that in a minute. In a way, that may have been a benefit because now you've played 2. Sure. It's funny how things work out like that. And so, in the playoffs, you got to be good, but it takes a little luck too. So, and we played well that night, like betting on the Greek goddess or whatever on the coin. That's right. That's right. Shot the ball really well that night. Kind of had first playoff game nerves in the first quarter, but ended up going on that second and third quarter against Paladura, we scored 62 points in 2 quarters. I mean, just went on an offensive tear and ended up winning 90-57. So, and then moved on to the next game, our area championship. We played in Fort Stockton. We played El Paso Chapin, probably one of the best El Paso teams I've seen in a long time. They're ranked 25th in the state. Always fundamental, always just a pain to play and
execute against, and really most sports.
Sure.
That's just what you're getting, and you're not really sure. The El Paso schools kind of work together, and you're not really sure. I mean,
it's a little different aspect playing those guys.
Absolutely,
for sure. And so, we were playing in a very familiar gym. We play in Fort Stockton almost every single year in the playoffs, and so our girls, it was good, and they were, very physical defensive team, and did a great job coming out in the first half. I think we were up 50-31 in the first half, just really scoring and shooting the ball well. And it got real physical in the second half, and they were really trying to fly around and trap us and cause turnovers, and our girls handled it well. And so ended up, winning that one by, I think it was 19 points, and then moved on to play Tascosa, Emerald Tascosa. And so that's the game that we played last night in the regional quarterfinals. And luckily, like you said, we were able to play at Wayland Baptist University again, and
second game of the playoffs, 2 out of 3 were at Wayland.
There was
some familiarity there.
Great atmosphere there. Right before our game, then was the Nazareth versus Valley girls, and so 2 small towns just packed in that Wayland gym, and so it made the atmosphere great. And a lot of those fans kind of stuck around for our game, and so going into that game, we knew there were some things we were kind of a little nervous about. First off, Tascosa is huge, and they have some size and some post players, and they really rely on their offensive rebounding. And as most people know, we're not huge. we're kind of undersized for the most part, and so that was going to be a huge emphasis for us. I mean, if we could, I don't know if we were going to out-rebound them, but if we could rebound with them, then we knew we were going to have a chance to win the game, and that's exactly what happened. I think they maybe pulled down 2 more rebounds than us in the whole game, and so we rebounded with them, and didn't shoot the ball as well as we had been. But at this point in the season, then it's not about how pretty it is; it's about coming out with the W.
Survive and advance. Sure. Yeah, so many teams. Depending on how they're built, and it really doesn't matter whether it's high school, college, whatever. It's like, okay, if we've got a size advantage, let's get a shot up and go get it. Yeah, that's our offense.
For sure.
Yeah, it's better than turning it over.
Definitely.
Or if we're not real skilled, we're not going to mess around with it. Let's just get a shot up and go get it.
Definitely.
And then it's a war.
Definitely.
How are the playoffs officiated differently? Is it tighter calls, or do they call less and let you play a bit more, or is it just matter game to game?
Sure, yeah. Up to this point, with our experience, just these first 3 games, it seems like they kind of let you play a little bit more. Okay. So kind of like maybe they want the players to really have to decide what the
Fair.
outcome of the game is. But I think it's just kind of different from game to game, and you have officials that call it differently. You have chapters that have different points of emphasis, and so across the state it might look a little bit different. Our game last night against Tascosa, I really let us play. It got really physical, probably too physical, but we went into the game knowing that's exactly how Tascosa needed to play to give them a chance to win, and so we expected it. There wasn't anything that happened last night that the girls weren't prepared for and was unexpected, and so we handled it really well. I was proud of them.
You survived that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question in this way, in that the first 2 games, you went over the scores. It were 90-57, 78-59. You kind of win in lopsided fashion.
Sure.
I don't know if the games were ever really in danger of losing them. This one, though, however, gets a little stressful down the stretch. Mm-hmm. That has to be a benefit, though, for you. You have to, you almost appreciate a game like that because your team been through it, survived it, gives them some confidence. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And we, even in practice, we go over a lot of in-the-game scenarios and situations. And so whenever we communicate that stuff in the games, then it's just, we've already talked about it. And last night against Tascosa, we started wasting a little bit of time with probably about 5 minutes left, and started, running the clock down each possession, and put the ball in our point guard's hands, Carissa Cortez, and she probably had it in her hands 90% of the time whenever we were on offense the last 5 minutes of the game.
You have been extremely blessed.
Oh, it's been incredible.
With good guards in recent years.
And she knows, we get in a game like that, and if she feels good about handling that ball, I mean, there's not many people that can stay in front of her. And whether she's attacking the paint looking to score or she's having to back it out and just waste time, she can do it, you know. And then it comes to the point in the game where they start needing a foul, she'll knock down free throws too.
It's the game within the game.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, good guards in postseason is like the coach's dream. I mean, this is because – you need people that can score,
Sure.
you need people that can do all these things, but like good guards, man, because they know how to manage it, they know situations.
Carissa Cortez controls the pace of the game, so she does a fabulous job with that, and she's confident in those late game situations. I mean, she hit 4 free throws in the fourth quarter that were huge for us last night, but she's been in those situations before. It was just her freshman year 2 years ago. Then she knocked down 2 free throws in the state semifinal game to send us into overtime. You know, she's got ice in her veins. She handles those situations really well.
So now you end up in a regional. So now it gets real fun in Wichita Falls, and this is kind of a mini Final Four. It's a Sweet 16 type venue, and 4 teams go. 1 team exits the regional and goes to the state championships and everything like that. Take me through what you know of, because I believe the opponent you're facing here, Colleyville Heritage. This is I don't know if they pulled off an upset, but they weren't. I think most would look at it and go, we didn't expect them to be this far. However, we want to term that. Kudos to them, but this is who you get matched up with.
Yeah, and so we're going to be taking on Colleyville Heritage. It's going to be Friday at 6 p.m. There in Wichita Falls at the K. Yeager Coliseum. On the other side of the bracket is going to be Lubbock-Monterey against Mansfield Timberview, and they'll play before us at 4 o'clock. And so the winners of those 2 games will play in the regional finals Saturday at 12 o'clock, and the winner of that one will go to the state tournament. And we're just fortunate to be here right now, and so we're going to enjoy it and have a blast. We know a little bit about Colleyville Heritage at this point. Going into this game, they're 19-14 on the season, so it's not like they've had just they have like this incredible record, but they're playing really good basketball right now. And
playing a hot team that's on a postseason run.
That's right, and they do have some size, quite a bit of size. But for us,
which you just saw,
we just saw that, and for us, it's nothing new. Every single district team we played is bigger than us, and so we've been preparing for that all season long, and so we'll be ready for that aspect of the game. They've got some really good athletes, and they're pretty simple on offense and defense, but they're playing good basketball. We're gonna have to be ready to play.
And you're going down early just to kind of soak up you're gonna practice the day before, and But what do you tell your kids that make it this far? Because these are the experiences that really the trips down there, the trip home, whether it's happy or sad, whatever. These are the things that they're gonna remember years and years from now. But what do you try to preach and have them consume with this experience, because not everybody gets it?
Sure. I was telling somebody last night, this doesn't happen very often, and it's hard to do. It's hard to win girls. I mean, especially like in West Texas, playoff games and girls basketball here in West Texas. So I mean, it's unique, and we need to smell the roses. I mean, we need to open our eyes and just soak in the moment and enjoy the bus rides and the hotels and the meals that we get to share together. And whenever we get on the court, we need to be ourselves, and that's going to be landing on my shoulders a lot. We don't need to stray away from a lot of the stuff that we've been doing all season, and we'll rely on our playmakers and our role players to chip in. I mean, we just need to be ourselves and just enjoy the moment and smell the roses.
Yeah, and we will. So I'm clear here. We will broadcast those games on the YouTube channel for Lubbock-Cooper ISD. So the LCISD YouTube channel. You will have broadcasts Friday and Saturday. Okay, so we'll make that clear. You will have announcers and all that. So just stay tuned to Coach Lovorn and obviously the social media channels for the district and obviously for his program. We're happy to provide that coverage to the folks that can't make it to Wichita Falls. What's it, about a 3-hour trip down there?
Oh, about 3.5. It'll probably take us about almost 4 by bus.
Because you maybe pause and get out and smell the roses.
Benjamin, Texas.
There you
got
go.
A great convenience store there. We'll stop there.
There you go. That's right. That's what it's all about. Well, Coach, I know this is fun. This is hard to get to this point. I'd love to do one of these a week from now with you.
Let's do it.
Okay, and before maybe another trip that'd be a bit longer there, but we'll let that play out before we visit about that. So anyway, appreciate it. Good luck, and it's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Chris.
Absolutely, there he is. Coach Lovorn, that's been another edition of Pirate Talk. Thank you for watching. And again, stay tuned to all the social media channels and follow everything on the LCISD YouTube channel.